Alright crafters, we're jumping right into background technique number 1. I have a box of inexpensive alcohol inks, ultra premium photo paper and satin finish, and a spray bottle of isopropyl alcohol. I start by spraying the back of the photo paper with the rubbing alcohol. That's the side with the coating that we need. I also have a bottle of distress alcohol blending solution, but it's not a requirement to get the look that we're trying to create here. My goal with the alcohol inks is to create 3 backgrounds that I can use for Halloween cards. So for the first card, I'm adding brown on top of the isopropyl alcohol. The key to getting good blends is to make sure that the paper stays wet. If you're intimidated by alcohol inks, starting with a box of inexpensive inks is a great way to go before making the investment into more premium brands. I've created dozens of backgrounds since purchasing this box, and I've had a lot of fun experimenting with the different looks. I've sped up the process slightly, but as you can see, it's just a matter of playing around with the brown, the gold, and the orange. By the way, the green spot was caused by not shaking up the bottle for the gold metallics well enough. The biggest challenge to alcohol inks is knowing when to stop. There's a strong temptation to keep going to see what else you can create. I'm glad I keep going with this because if you're familiar with the Tim Holtz ideology line, he has a Halloween background and cardstock that looks very similar to the creation we have here. If you have a glass mat, cleanup of alcohol inks is a breeze. For the next background, I use the alcohol blending solution, and you can see how the inks move differently across the paper. I also use the blower to help spread the black inks. You can do this by using short puffs of air. Now bear with me on this next background. Red alcohol inks are tricky on film. If you're one of the dozen people who saw my first video I posted, I created a whole crime scene on that one. Here are the final backgrounds after they dried. I'm very happy with how they came out. I used the one on the left to create a quick card using only die cuts for the greeting and the skull embellishment. For technique number 2, we're using texture paste with stencils. Now I've taped down my stencils, but you could also use a grip mat if you clean it off immediately. This first stencil is from Photoplay and it's called Pumpkin Faces. For this one I'm using distressed texture paste in black opaque on 80-pound Nina smooth cardstock. If you've never used texture paste before, the process is rather straightforward, requiring a smooth, even coat. For this next background, I'm using Creepy Crawly stencil by Echo Park. I'm also using distressed grit paste in Glow. This is my first time using the glow-in-the-dark paste, and it is noticeably thinner. My cardstock is only 65 pounds, so I've taped down all sides to prevent any curling or warping. I used the same materials for the third background, only I changed the stencil to the Dylusions small stencil called Web. The third background took several hours to dry because the paper had gotten so damp. So once the paste was dry to the touch, I let it finish drying under the weight of a glass block. For card number 2, I chose the spider's background. I love the novelty of the glow-in-the-dark feature, but it's important to note that it does not glow with this kind of intensity very long. For the final background technique, I've gathered all of my distressed mica stains, distressed spritzes, and Dylusions shimmer sprays in various Halloween colors. I've relied on a couple different approaches using both stencils and just spraying the backgrounds to create my desired patterns. I've listed all the products used in this video in the description box below. So let me know in the comments, which was your favorite technique? I chose the purple and green one to create my card. Again, using mostly die cuts to create the image. I also embellished with a Halloween mix that I purchased from Amazon. Thanks for watching. Be sure to give a like and subscribe. See you next week.